I'm Hannah. I just like to put things out there when I'm either proud of myself, so if I've kind of accomplished something like kind of a piece of work maybe or something like that, or just kind of like if I've had a good time. So maybe I don't put out there like kind of like bad things. Kind of if you've had like a like down day or like a rubbish week or something, like I wouldn't put that out on social media. So like, and I don't think many people I know and kind of follow on social media, I don't think they do either. So it's kind of very strange that people don't do that. I think they want people to see their life in like a positive aspect. So it's kind of more like they're looking for like people to portray their life in a positive way. So they're kind of, that's why they only put good things out there. So like if they've had like a really good night out or something like that, like if they have a good night out but it might not even be good, like so if they have like a really bad night out and they fall out with their friends, or you know they like lose people, they lose their phone or lose their money or anything, like you know it could be a really bad night out and they'll still put a picture of them all laughing and smiling and saying, oh, like, you know, what a great night out. And it's like that's not really a real representation of what actually happened. So I think people kind of do like put kind of their positive spin on their life because they want to be seen as like this amazing person who does all these things and kind of, yeah, just like say to other people, look, like you do all of that but so do I. There's quite a lot of pressure to be on like social media, I think, like, and it's kind of a lot of younger people want to because they want to follow like their like favourite celebrity or something like that. So it's kind of more pressure to be on it compared to if you actually want to. So just to kind of fit in with society, I think it's kind of become like the norm to like do that, like to kind of put out there like positive things about your life instead of negative. And I think when people put negative things out, it's very like kind of not like frowned upon, but kind of more like people will then like start messaging you going like, oh, are you okay? And it's like, well, yeah, but I've just had a bad week. Like everybody has a bad week. Just because I put it on social media doesn't mean like, you know, I'm like in a bad mental state or anything like that. It's just because I've had a bad week. And so I think people kind of maybe like see it as a bit like dramatic kind of thing, which it shouldn't be at all. I think if I've been to a big event, so like if I go to like a, I don't know, maybe like someone's birthday party, or if I go to like a massive event at uni, I do feel pressure because everybody else I've kind of spent time with there have. So I'm kind of a bit like, oh, well, maybe I should do that, like, you know, post a couple of pictures or something. Like if I've done something great, like I'd like people to know about it. So maybe a little bit of pressure to kind of be like, oh, like, you know, share it. But I wouldn't say I feel that all the time, but I know that some people do. Like, so they post like literally like something every week, and it's like, oh, like, you know, this night out, like, and then the next week it will be like, oh yeah, like I went for drinks with my best friend, something like that. So it's like more like I feel like they feel more pressure to kind of say what they've done in their lives, to kind of show other people what they've done. I think the whole point of people just posting positive things about their life has a big effect on people, like completely. Like I know that most people look at people's lives and they're like, oh gosh, they've got such an amazing life. So like I know one of my friends goes out every weekend and they like post pictures on like social media with like them and their friends and like drinks and, you know, like dancing and all of that, and people have come up to her and gone, oh gosh, like, you know, you live such a great life. And but she goes to work every Monday to Friday, and, you know, she goes to bed at 9 o'clock every night, but it's only on that Saturday where she's like living a great life. So it's kind of, I think that affects people's well-being because they're like, oh gosh, like they're living such a great life, so why is mine, like I'm going to work every day, you know, on a Saturday night I'm in bed at 7, and it's like that's not like, I think it affects people's well-being because it's just not like, it's just not a real representation of people's lives at all. Like it's just kind of what they'd like people to see as their life, not what it actually is. A lot of people will like just sit on their phone and just scroll through like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything. So I think they'll kind of just like pretty much live their life through it, and like if something funny happens they'll film it straight away, or they'll be like, oh yeah, like let's recreate that so then I can put that on social media. It's just a bit like just kind of live in the moment. So sometimes I feel like I go on my phone a lot, and sometimes I just kind of you have to take a step back and just be like, you know, I need to not do that anymore. I think it depends who you follow on social media, I think. Because some people are kind of very real about kind of showing their emotions, and if they've had a bad day, they'll like post about it or something. But I think be a bit more like realistic about what their life is actually like, you know, so like I'll sit in the library for like 6 hours a day, like, but then I'll post something that's like really fun, and it's like, you know, they don't know that I've been sat in the library for that long, kind of having meltdown after meltdown over my essays and stuff like that. So maybe like people do need to be a bit more like real about it, and like show what their lives are actually like, and not just like this ideal kind of perspective of their life instead. I think sometimes like when you have a night out and it's like you put a picture on and like your caption is all like, oh, like having a great night out with like the girls or something like that, and it's portraying like you had a really good time, but then like they might kind of just like, you might feel excluded from them, like, you know, or something like that. And it's just kind of, I think I can think of a couple that I've put out there which are a bit like, oh, did I actually have a nice time, or am I just kind of saying that I did because I want people to believe that I did? I think it's because it's such a big thing in modern life now, so it's kind of more like in our lives a lot, so people kind of feel more like pressure to, and kind of use more social media and stuff, and like make sure that people know what's going on in your life and stuff like that. Even in the space of like 20 years, like it's so much bigger in our lives now than it used to be. I think that's just because like we're surrounded by it, so we're surrounded by like technology, like you have a phone in your pocket and it's just always there. Quite a lot of people post about like, you know, like you need to check up on people and make sure that like, you know, that they're okay, and you know, like mental health is obviously like a massive thing. So it's kind of, you know, I do kind of feel like some posts do like affect me, and kind of you look at them and you're like, oh wait, like that's me really, you know, if you look at them and you know, you think, oh, like I'm having a bad day, and you see something that says, there's like a quote or something, and you just say, oh, like you're having a bad day, but you know, tomorrow will be fine. And like if you're having a bad day, that will completely affect you. Like it will definitely have a massive impact on like how kind of you feel, you're feeling, and how you deal with your bad day, I guess. I like social media because it's a way of a platform to share things with people. So I think you can use it positive and negatively. So, you know, and I try and use it as positively as possible. So kind of try and, you know, I know lots of people who edit their photos so much, like on Instagram and stuff. They have like a completely separate app that I didn't even know about, like, you know. So it's kind of a big kind of, that would affect them quite a lot if social media did not, like, just kind of evaporated.